put it on him. I think we'll use our leader forge too on this. And just apply a ton of pressure here. Just apply as much pressure as we can, because he is going to need a bunch of cards here. He's down a lot. He has to remove the Brewer. There's Zoltan's Company for him. Looks like we're going to take this 2-0. Yeah, looks like we got 2-0 here. I think. This is 2 pings. This is 5. 3 pings. Yeah. GG. Today we're going to be playing some Dwarves. They did get 2 new cards, which we should talk about first. One of them is Mahakam Pass. So, Temper Vision's Resilience, create and play a Mahakam Dwarf, give it 4 armor. The 4 armor really helps the Dwarf keep it alive. And honestly, you had to give it some armor because the Dwarf doesn't get the Barricade armor from your passive, so it gives it armor. And then it's got the Order, Spawn, and Play Tempering. The Mahakam Dwarf is kind of interesting because you can get a bunch of different options, and whichever one is the best value you pick, right? But sometimes you can go for sometimes you can do this early if you haven't drawn a Volunteers and try and get your 3rd Volunteers that way. That's not bad. Gets you an extra thinning out of the deck because we're not playing Garrison, so you could go for that. Otherwise, you just pick whichever one's the best value. And the Spawn and Play Tempering has quite a few potential uses, right? You could play Aglace and go for a double Aglace, like Aglace Forge, Tempering, and then Pass Tempering. I thought that'd be kind of neat, but we're not playing it in this game. But just the Pass has a lot of options, and I'd like anything with carryover, so this is pretty good. And then we have Eudora Breckenriggs. So she randomly infuses one of our Zoltans at the start of the game with her ability, and she thins herself out of the deck. So immediately we have a 14-card deck instead of 15, which is really good. And then she comes out with Tempo. So we're playing 3 Zoltans, so she'll come out at 5 points. And it's also really nice that she gives you another Dwarf on the row. So if you're going to play like Brewer, for example, or Mahakam Guard, she fills up the row a little bit faster, which is quite good. So let's get into the rest of the deck here. We are playing Crystal Skull. No explanation really needed there. It always goes on Dwarven Chariot if you have it. And then we have Zoltan Warrior. This is a really good one for Eudora to infuse if you just want tempo, because it's really good. Like, really high tempo. And he just gets those pings. It's a very strong card. And we have Monroe. I opted to play Monroe. I've seen some people not playing Monroe. Monroe on the Rowdy Dwarves is just insane if they don't stop it. So, highly recommend trying it out. I think it's really good. And really what we're doing here is we're going for 2 long rounds with, you have tempo options, right? But in a perfect world, we get a round with Monroe and the Dwarf Berserkers carrying it. And then we get another row with Brewer carrying it. So that would be ideal. But we have a lot of other options too. Speaking of Brewer, like Monroe, I've seen people alternating between one of these, like playing one of these, but not both. I've actually seen some people playing no Brewer, either that they just didn't draw it with 3 cards left in their deck, which would be pretty weird. But I think Brewer's really good. He gives you reach in games where you wouldn't otherwise have it, right? Like, if we're playing, say, Scoia'tael Self-Wound, we don't really want to just be having Monroe long rounds, because we're throwing pings out that don't really do anything with the Berserkers. Whereas Brewer can really just boost our guys up, and you can get some good tempo of like 7 or 8 Dwarves out. You play Brewer, he boosts the whole row. Really big value right away. So I like having Brewer. He gives you a threat that otherwise the deck doesn't really have. Now we're playing Heat Wave. We need a Heat Wave for control. I think we just need it. Remove something. Everyone knows about Heat Wave by now. Novigrad Injustice is quite nice. Usually I'm playing the one of Guard off of it. You could play a second Guard, by the way. We'll get into the bronzes later. But yeah, usually you end up playing the Guard off of it. But there's a lot of choices. You can thin out your Volunteers if you want. You can thin out whatever you need. Then we're playing Decree, just a consistency card. So between Eudora thinning herself out, Decree, and then Justice, and then the Volunteers, you get what? The Volunteers thin 1, Justice thins 1, Decree thins 1, Eudora thins 1. That's 4 thinning. That is quite a bit. Like I said, we're not playing the Garrison, which will give you another thinning because you use it on Volunteers. But if you wanted to, you probably could. We're not playing the whole armor stuff, right? You can also sim loss into the new Armorer's Workshop. Well, the buffed Armorer's Workshop. I've seen that. Because the second one gives you 3. You can go like sim loss into 2 of these, get 5 armor on your guys, then play a Dennis Kramer. That's pretty cool, but I think it's not the most consistent thing. And really, we're just playing it to so much damage that the armor gets its value without us having to work for it. Like a lot of Skellige, a lot of Nilfgaard Arbalest, that type of stuff. Moving on, we are playing all three Zoltans. So we mentioned Zoltan Warrior, we are playing Zoltan Shive, and we are playing Zoltan Scoundrel. Scoundrel I wasn't too sure about, but I ended up putting it in just because the extra dwarf off of Zoltan's Company is really good. And we do end up getting some decent value with this. Originally, I was running Dennis in the Armorer's Workshops, but they weren't working out very well, so I swapped that for Zoltan and another bronze. And we have the Eudora, we have the Zoltan's Company, fantastic card. Ideally, we use this on the... Ideally, we get to use this with Monroe. Bruver should be able to get armor in a lot of dwarves, but if you can transform all 5 of these with Monroe, there's not 5 other dwarf tokens in the deck. Well, there are, but it's kind of hard to sync up. So either this with Monroe or Bruver. Both are really good. It really goes between whichever one you have in your hand, really. Like, in a perfect world, we transform all these with Monroe, and then like also have a dwarf chariot, and then we have 7 other dwarves for Bruver to boost. That doesn't always happen. If you go to a shorter round, you just spawn in the 5 dwarves off the company, play Bruver. If they can't answer it, you get a ridiculous number of points. But yeah, very strong card. Then we got the volunteers within our deck. The 2 chariots, it's fantastic. Now, I was running a bunch of the different dwarves. I was running like Agitator and Defender and just the boost guys to try and get maximum value. The Marauders. Those weren't working out so well, so we kind of swapped into the damage package of dwarves, right? So we're going double Pyrotechnician and then Berserker and double Skirmisher. There's actually a decent amount of control, and I really like Pyrotechnician, right? Especially against like Nilfgaard. You throw down, if you go first, you throw down Pyrotechnician. If they want to go battle stations into Arbalest Pikeman or Pikeman, yeah, Arbalest Pikeman or something like that, you just go, you have this out and you destroy one of them. It doesn't work as well against Slave Infantry. If they go like battle stations, Pikemen, Slave Infantry, Pikemen, you could hit the 1-power Pikemen or the Slave Infantry, so it's not as good there, but it's still really good just to proactively deal with engines, which is a very good thing to have in the deck, when we're, especially when we only have 1 heat wave. It also gives you a lot of reach, right? So if you open with this, you hit something with it, you can play a Skirmisher or a Berserker to kill it off if it's their only unit, or you can target it with a Skirmisher. But yeah, I like Pyrotechnician. Berserker is just really good value. We have the 1 guard, like I mentioned, and the 2 Skirmishers. Skirmishers are kind of clutch nowadays. They do so much work in the damage department. And I mentioned we have the 1 guard, and then we have a 1 Paladin just to purify something like Monroe. Although, to be fair, I haven't seen many locks lately, so that might be unnecessary, but I like having it. So that is the deck. Should be pretty good. I've actually played several games with this already, and it worked out pretty well. So let's go see how it does. Should be pretty good, unless our other games were flukes, which I doubt. Our first opponent looks to be a double cross. Seen some decent amount of Renfrey double cross again. The annoying thing with all of these Nilfgaard decks, especially if it's the Renfrey ones, because they have the slave drivers and soldiers in particular, are they have a lot of locks. So I think we will keep the Peller. Just keep that in mind, we'll keep the Peller. We do have this. We have Monroe. Don't have any way to spawn tokens, though, so Monroe's kind of weak here. We're first, so this is pretty good. Put this one back. We'll get off of Justice if we need to. Or he's going first. Oh, I said that. We saw this card. He's going to Shillard our Monroe. It's a bit of a pain, but we can always put a tempering on him off the leader or off of pass when we do end up going for him. It's not the worst thing. It's probably Aristocrats then. Probably Aristocrats. Let's just drop in the Pyrotechnician. We need Dwarf out for the Volunteers. This is one that's likely to survive long enough for it to happen. Haven't seen much of Shillard lately. I guess he had a 50-50 between Bruver and Monroe. Alright, what are we hitting? Zoltan, Chariot, and Skirmisher. Okay, makes sense. Does make sense here. Let's fire this. And then we will go in for, I think we'll wait Justice. We'll try and go Justice on this guard. So for now, let's just play this guy. There's a coup on the pyrotechnician. It's fine. I think he's just looking for any value on the coup. Just gonna hold it for the later rounds. Hitting coup on Zoltan Scavenger would be pretty bad for us, so I want to avoid that if we can. This has the resilience. Down a fair bit. Let's go for the resilience carryover. He has not played a Yonkel weight. Against Yonkel weight, it's usually better to just not let them go straight to round 2. Okay. It's also really good to not let him coup this. So the fact that he already played the coup, we're okay with. We could take the pass here. Since he played the coup, by the way, he can't get a copy of this, which is kind of important, actually. It's important. We have a decree. Decreeing Zoltan wouldn't be the worst thing either, honestly. Then he can't coup it later. That means we'd want more dwarves here. If we play warrior, we put on a lot of pressure, but we use it up. I think we want to do this to pressure the win on even here. It's a really big commitment. But I think pressuring for the win on even is good, even if he hasn't played the Yonkel weight. There's the Yonkel weight. So yeah, we're still applying that pressure on even. That's good. We use this to thin out the guard from our deck. It does block this from being played, though. Do we care? We might just save this. We can always play not guard on the ranged row. Yeah, let's go in here with this guy. Just take the value. Thought about killing the mage torturer, but I don't think that's actually worth it. There's a good chance that, decent enough chance that he'll kill it over the next couple turns, and if not, he starts assimilating, we can trigger the order. Guys go in. Yeah, there's the pass. So we hold on to our justice. We did Yonkel wait. That means we want to apply some pressure here. We know he has coup. It makes playing this bad because if he coups it, he just gets a free kill. We do have the pass, though. That makes it a little bit different. Don't want that. Peller is good if he's locking us. Is there anything we don't want him double crossing? Not too much in particular. You know, this into this isn't too bad. If we just open minor. Question is it really worth holding the Peller here? I think we will. There's no way he doesn't have locks. He doesn't have the vampire one, at least. And we definitely want a minor. We also want to play pass because it's got resilience. Let's open with the minor. He could coup this now. We could have proactively Pellered it. I think it's worth Pellering this to deny him the option of cooing it without playing the other card first. I think that is worth it. We could care less about Squirrel. Doesn't do anything here. That's probably the worst card he wanted to see. So we could go Monroe. We need to create the tokens first. I don't want to go Zoltan's Company necessarily. But Decree into a Chariot wouldn't be too bad. I'm feeling it. Let's go Decree into Chariot. The non... spying chariot, of course. And then we'll hold this. We'll go Monroe with the minor order. Go transform. See what we can do. Keep in mind he did play the Yon, so he's going to have all his golds in his hand. Okay, he's going to go for that copy. That's fair enough. It's not too bad, though. Usually when you coup, you want to hit something bigger than that. So with this, the Monroe is going to get less value. I still think we use it, though. Because it is smaller and all, thanks to his... what's it called? His Shillard. We just go to round 3 with Zoltan's Company and Brewer. That'd be really nice. And then a carryover on pass. There's a resilience for him. He's going to get one. It's fine. Definitely play the pass here. Pyrotechnician is interesting. But he has so much armor that I think we just... It might still be the best one. No, Miner's good. Miner's good. Because Miner can re-armor these instead of our Chariot. We're going to force this out. He's going to get a good card off of this, because either... Or I guess Brewer actually doesn't get a good card. This doesn't do anything for him. This only gives him the 2. And this is not great either. Got the leader charge. And we have confirmed, since there's a coup, it's not Renfree. So this is a really good bleed, it looks like. We got rid of the Shillard, or not Shillard, the Stefan. Quite nice there. You should kill the Zoltan. Yep, he's gonna go for it. Could take the pass here, could play Justice. Justice is a good tempo play, though. So, with this gone, like, he has Nausicaa's and stuff for round 3. But we got rid of his biggest plays. He has a resilience, but that's whatever. We'll take the pass. This round 3 should be pretty good. Like, I imagine he's going to have, like... maybe he's playing Shillard over battle stations, but no battle stations so far. So he has access to a lot of Nausicaa's, potentially. I think this we put back... Do we want the Pyro? He has no coup, so we don't have to worry about the spying stuff. Do we want Pyro? I think we'll put this back. It's a pretty good card for him. Really negates the value on these Berserkers. I think I'll play the Berserkers anyway, though. At least one. Because we want to play them when there's a chance that some of their armor gets value. There's the one he created earlier. Yeah, this really negates our guys here. We'll go into the Brewer next. So we won't want to fill up our row too much. We won't have space. Oh, we hit the only thing without armor. Sometimes lucky. We should play the Brewer sooner rather than later. But I imagine he has control for it. Okay, that's going to kill one of our guys. Interesting choice there. Let's go Brewer. I think we should click this on this. He has to remove the Brewer. But the nice thing about Brewer is it gives you a lot of points, but they're all spread out. Yeah, there's the Vilgeforts. Honestly, a lot of our bronzes aren't too bad here. That one's pretty good. Still kind of close. We have a nice tempo play in the Justice, which will definitely be for the Guard. So we'll go this next turn. The Guard would get us to... Yep, so this goes melee. We toss this on this. We'll go Justice for Guard melee. He have his biggest thing should be okay. Like, he might have like 2 Nausicaa's in his hand. Or Nausicaa and... I don't know. Slave Driver? I'm guessing it's 2 Nausicaa's though. This would be a really good guard. We should win this next turn. Okay, it's going to be that guy he created off of us, sure. It's going to be good value, but it won't be enough to win. Don't need to play anything else here, so we won't. GG, nice easy game one there. Going up against Deathwish. So the Deathwish, the Lara bug was patched with the Cursed Toad, thankfully. Or Giant Toad, whatever it was. Whatever the bug was, they fixed it. So we don't have to worry about that scamming us out of games here. We do have to be mindful of Regis, so we need a strong round one. We have Broover. If it's a Regis deck, they generally have 0 answers to Broover, and we just win the round off of him, which is good. If one of these back can't redraw it, do we want this control? I don't think we want Pyro against the Deathwish deck. And fortunately, we're going first. Going second against Deathwish is so much worse because of the double Brewis, which he thankfully can't do here. If we had a Heat Wave in our hand, this guy would be so sad right now. But we don't, so he's not sad. He doesn't care. Do we go Monroe this round? We can go... If we go Monroe, we can make them off of Zoltan to get 4. It's a big commitment. Is this an Erendite deck? Probably not. Let's just play the Berserker, give it a 5th armor. Let's play it slow. Slow-ish. We'll go Volunteers next. That's going to give him a lot of tempo. A lot of tempo. No Dagon, by the way. So either he's really committing, either he's running Haunt, or he's running Control with his Regis, or he's just playing Deathwish. In which case, it'd be really weird for the no Dagon. He might have just not drawn a tutor, which would be very fortunate for us if that is in fact the case. Kind of feeling this to hit this. We have a 33% chance to remove this, which would be really helpful. Really helpful. Just denying a consume is good. Even though it triggers the Deathwish form, I think getting rid of the consume is worth it. Because when I play Deathwish, I find that really annoying. Okay, here comes back the Brewis. We get more tempo when he consumes it next turn. Or leaders it. I think we'll go with Broover this round. Let's go Volunteers into Broover. Or Monroe. Yeah, I like the Monroe play. He's most likely to consume this one, right? Let's grab our Monroe. We're going to play down to 4 here, because I just don't want to risk it being Regis. As long as we're consuming these guys, we should be okay. We might want to play this next turn, which would fill our melee row if we go if we play the Volunteers melee. So I think what we'll do is just play Zoltan, because it gives us carryover. I think next turn we have to play the Zoltan Warrior to continue Monroe, if he applies any amount of pressure here. This is basically his turn here. He's going to apply a big pressure card here, or we're going to go up, I think, and take the round. We have to keep in mind this could be Haunt. Haunt would be a scary card later in the game, but we do have a Heat Wave potentially. That's a good tempo for him. We're going to have to play the Zoltan Warrior, I think. Another transform here. This dies no matter what, so we'll just rearmor one of these. Should keep us ahead. And he's got no Death Wishes left. Alright, there's the Regis. Question is, how hard do we want to try and commit? Okay, just gonna leader it. We could go Brewer if we really are craving some adventure here. Just using all of our cards round one, which I'm not. But do we want to give him the round? No. This doesn't quite cut it. I think we have to Brewer. The advantage to this is he's going to banish 3 cards off his deck. Or we force out the Azrael, because we cannot deal with the short round Azrael. So I think if we can get rid of the Azrael, it is worth it. Either now or in round 2. Okay, good. We got rid of the Azrael. That was a big concern. That was a big concern here. Could go Volunteers. Could go Pass. Pass is advantage. It could give us Minor. Let's do the Pass. Minor would be good. Marauders is okay. Yeah, Marauders is like a 9. Yeah, Marauders is the best here. We'll re-armor this. Question is, do we want a leader? I don't think so. I'm really glad we got rid of the Azrael. We'll take the round here. Scary thing is Haunt and Succubus. We don't have a Scoia'tael for the Succubus. Do have Resilience here, though. Do have Resilience. Our best tempo play is going to be Zoltan Scoundrel on the company with Novigrad Injustice round 3. I think we play this a little bit. They don't always get all 3 Succubi. And in round 3 you do have a Heat Wave if he goes really tall, except if there's a Karen. There's a Dagon. He has no leaders. He's got the 1 Toad though, right? Giant Toad. Really glad to see that out of his deck. We're going to have to use his Mahakam Pass card, order at some point. Let's consume again, gives him a little carryover. He's probably really happy with how this is going right now, which means we're not very happy about it. Let's go Pyro first, in case we want to use its order. Then we'll go with this. Its order is like 1 point better than the Skirmisher's order. Right now, at least, because he's got no Bronze Deathwishes. The thing is, he has no on-demand consumes now, so we have a turn of him having low tempo. There's a second Succubus. Hopefully he doesn't have a third. We'll trigger this. Trigger this. And then this is getting lost anyway, so we might as well throw it on this guy. He's our smallest dude. He's going to go up a card here because we're not going to play this company. It's our best round 3 card. But maybe he decrees something nice. He's going to get away with a decree on that thing. It's going to be nice for him. He does have Succubus value, potentially. He has higher Vampire. He's probably going to go 1 Succubus into the Toad. The Toad's going to eat it, but we got rid of most of his big plays, I think. Although he could have a Haunt, so we want to draw a Heat Wave. Okay, let's just see if we draw what we want. No. We do need our Zoltan. We really need the Zoltan. Okay, that's good. No to Justice, but this is a decent hand. I just think he might have too much value with the Succubus. Although, to be fair, he has to play the Lock to get the third one. It's possible he doesn't have it. He just opens Karen. I mean, that is a play you can do. We want to go ranged with this guy, because we can fill the row up and get more value. Is this just a no unit deck round 3? That armor isn't. Our armor is going to get a lot of value here. He's got a big Erendite. That's always annoying. So yes, looks like just no unit deck will be the answer for what he's playing. Here we go, Zoltan. We drop this on this guy. He might have a Heat Wave or something left. Might have Heat Wave Erendite. Yep, he's got Heat Wave Erendite. So he's going to win this, I think. Unless this is a control card. And we do win this, actually. Yeah, it was a control card, so we get him. GG. I guess most of his value would be a Deathwish, too, and he's got no toads, so we do take that. GG. Good game. Looks like we have a Dwarf Mirror. Mirror matches are well known to be my favorite thing. And this one is... it's going to be something. It's going to be something. Alright, we'll see what he's playing. If he's playing like Dennis, Simlos, Armor's Workshop, it might be a little bit of a disadvantaged position, but we are going second. We don't really have the tools to apply pressure here. We would need Monroe or something. Skirmisher, not that great against Dwarves, if we're going to be honest. Other than hitting Chariot, but his Chariot will have Crystal Skull. Oh, no, not Crystal Skull. We'll have that on it, so we'll put that back. And Peller could be useful. This is not going to be that useful. Got Skirmisher. Okay. See what we can do. So we can go for the big melee one. That makes a lot of sense. Like, that's probably what we would do, too, if we didn't need the tokens, which we don't. Although the tokens are nice to spawn with Zoltan. Yeah, I think we'll do the ranged one. So we can go Zoltan, boost those. We could decree the Monroe. Monroe's not ideal, but we'll see if we want it. Yeah. Monroe is really not going to find too much value this game. The question then is, do we use Monroe early? Oh, he pinged this. That means we died a Skirmisher. That's quite bad. It's decently likely that happens, but I was hoping it wouldn't. This round one's probably going to him. Not my favorite thing. Let's thin our deck then. Getting Skirmishered here. Probably. Oh, he doesn't have it. He's got Pyrotechnician. That is nice. We've got a bunch of bodies then. We might go for I'm thinking about the Monroe. The thing with Monroe is we only get 2 tokens to transform if we do it. So I'm not a fan. Let's do this. That is technically removing value from him. That's not the worst target, not the best target. There's his volunteers. The real question is here, do we want to play Mahakam Pass? We're not going to dry pass round 2, right? We have nothing with big armor, so it looks like a second Skirmisher. That's the card we're playing next turn also. Just checking if we had Eudora on it. If he's playing the Marauder, he gets really good value here. But then we drop the Peller and Purify. Alright, here's the thing with Peller. We can Peller him, and then we'd have to use the pass order. That is the trade-off. Is it worth removing that for that? Gives us the option of passing, which we don't want to do, I don't think. No, I think we just drop the guard here. He might have a lock. We can always put the Peller back, right? Although getting this also off of Justice is a nice tempo play. Okay, I think we just put this back. We're missing so many of our key gold cards here. I do like the Miner or the Cherry opening. Let's go with the Cherry opening. Right now, it's not looking so bad for Monroe. There's his pass. It's got a lot of value on that card. Just going to hold off on this pass as long as possible. We could put it on our Zoltan, but I'm not feeling it. I kind of expect... Okay, he's going to kill one of our tokens. That's fine. We're not really going to use those, I don't think. Kill his token. Or his guy. I think we'll miner this guy. He's getting pretty low. Armor's got decent value here. At this point, we've basically played exactly the same things. But since we're the one applying pressure, we can theoretically get him to play golds first, and then have more value round 3. That's what we're going for. Miner. Looks like he is not going to let us do that. We got a nice hit here, though, off the Skirmisher. Normally wouldn't expect much value here, but we can actually hit an unarmored guy. Quite nice. I think we'll save this to hit Broover with if Broover doesn't get heat waved. I think we will play the Broover. Just because right now we're in a pretty advantaged spot. Got some good decree targets as well. Alright, he's going to go for his Broover. Let's see if he armors that up. Kind of expect him to put one of these on it. We could go for the heat wave. It's probably the best heat wave target we're going to find. Yeah, it's definitely the best heat wave target we're going to find. So we're just going to hit that now. The advantage to that also is that it's going to stop him from going into Zoltan's Company afterward. Like, that's a scary play. If he has the Broover play Zoltan Company, we could be in trouble. But as it is, we're not going to find a better heatwave target than that in his deck, I don't think. So we'll just go into our own Broover next. We only have 1 armor. We can put our pass on it, potentially. The downside to just going Broover and Chariot is if he's playing Aaron Knight, you can probably kill it. But I think we play around Heatwave instead of Aaron Knight here. So let's play our Broover. Let's give this guy the armor. He might not Heatwave it if it has no armor on it. The Broover, that is. Simloss Double Workshop. Alright, he's playing the Dennis version. Good to know. Our short round would have been worse than his. That's a big play to get rid of. This Zoltan doesn't have the Eudora on it, so I think we'll go into that Zoltan. Just because it makes the Broover really, really good. definitely going to play this card. We'll put it on him. I think we'll use our Leader Forge too on this. And just apply a ton of pressure here. Just apply as much pressure as we can, because he is going to need a bunch of cards here. He's down a lot. He has to remove the Brewer. There's Zoltan's Company for him. It looks like we're going to take this 2-0. Yeah, looks like we got 2-0 here. I think. This is 2 pings. This is 5. 3 pings. Yeah. GG. It's a good call to go for it there. And if we didn't, we had Zoltan's Company, Zoltan's Scoundrel with a Eudora, which should have carried out round 3, even if he did win that. And like I said, we wanted to make sure he wasn't playing the Armorer's Workshop, because if he has Sim-Loss double Workshop into Dennis, that's a lot of points. But we forced out the Zoltan's Company, so he probably couldn't have done that anyway. Alright, let's get into the deck here, guys. This video is probably going to be a little shorter than normal ones, but after the hotfix, the servers do not want to cooperate. And we can't seem to get any more games other than the ones we just played, so we'll just leave it at what it is. But that is the deck. Hope you guys enjoyed, even if it's a little bit shorter. As far as the options here, we mentioned in the beginning a couple things, right? So if we go to the Dwarves, not necessarily Dwarves, but I don't want cycle cards. We want to go faction. If we go to neutral, wow, that's not neutral. Oh yeah, so a couple things to mention here is, not you, Great Oak is an option. I really like Great Oak as a card. And it does work well with the swarming that Dwarves can do. I've seen some people play it. I think it's pretty good, but I couldn't find space for it myself, and I think I'd rather have Brewer, Justice, Heatwave, that kind of stuff. But if you want to swap out Monroe, like you don't like Monroe, transforming your tokens, you want to save your Zoltan's Company for Brewer, you don't think you need the transform with Monroe, you can swap him for Great Oak. That's a decent substitution. And then another one is you can run Garrison. Garrison's quite good. Gets you an extra thinning on volunteers. Gives a bunch of copies of Dude's armor. That's really helpful for Brewer itself. Like if you want to go Garrison on the company, it really helps keep them alive. Especially if they're pinging things off. Like say you're in a mirror match, you're pinging all your tokens armor off. Your Brewer gets pretty bad. But this can help fix that, which is potentially good. Those are 2 big ones. And the other ones is I think we saw the Dwarf player playing Sim-Loss into Armor's Workshop. That is really good if you're playing Dennis and Marauders. I just have found that it's not the most consistent thing. I haven't tried it myself, but people using it against me have found it not very consistent. I tried just playing the Armorer's Workshop without the Sim-Loss. I found it wasn't that great. But I also wasn't stacking armor super hard. So maybe there's something to be said there for Marauder and Dennis. So those are a couple things to mention. And as far as the bronzes, we did want a Squirrel a couple times, but I think I like Peller better. And I like having the Pyros. I like having the damaged Dwarves. Like I said in the beginning, I tried the non-damaged Dwarves, they didn't work out as well. I like having the Pyrotechnician, Berserker, and Skirmisher. I think they're pretty good. And then as far as the rest of the deck, I really like the addition of Eudora. I tried without Zoltan's Scoundrel to run 2 Zoltans, but I think the Zoltan's Company getting too weakened from it was a downside. But overall, I like it. Mahakam Pass is really nice. I think it's better. I think it's pretty close between this and Garrison, though. This is really nice because you get the Dwarf and you give it the extra armor, right? It's similar to creating those Dwarf in your starting deck off of Garrison. Garrison's more consistent in getting you what you want. It's also better because you can always pick the cards you want, and it can double thin volunteers, where you're not going to save your volunteers in your deck to try to do that. And the order on this is better, though, because this has the Tempering order. The other one's order is only really good on the Dwarf tokens, which you're transforming, or it's also really good on the Berserkers, but you have to have transformed several of them with Monroe. And at that point, you're probably already winning. So I think the order in this is better, and the deploy on Garrison is better. So the question is, which one do you want to play? And do you want to play both? I think both is pretty good. I just couldn't fit it. That is an option you could go for. And then as far as the rest of the deck, I think the mid-range ones I went over most of these. I think they're pretty good. The only thing is if you want to go for armor versions, you can play the Workshop in Dennis and Marauder. I just didn't have super success when I was trying to do that, but you can go for it. And I also tried out Agitator. Agitator is nice for getting the armor in that version too, right? You'd run like 2 Agitators, probably over the Pyrotechnicians. Then you put in the Armorer's Workshop. You have to cut provisions somewhere, then Simlos, probably instead of Monroe. So that is something you could do. And that does have the advantage of the Simlos thins your deck twice again, right? So that gives you more consistency if you do it early. But then you have to fit the Dentist, and you're at that point you're cutting so many cards, and that's really armor based, and I'm not the biggest fan of it, but I can see why it might be good. We might try that out. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed. Sorry this one's a little shorter. Their servers seem to be not wanting to let me play one more game, so it is what it is. Hope you enjoyed anyway, and we'll see you next time. That'll be it for this one, guys. Hope you enjoyed. We'll see you next time. Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. And you can check out some more videos over here. And thanks for watching.